Okay, ready to dive into something you might not expect.
Mm.
The surprisingly strategic world of goldfish crackers.
Oh,
We're going to unpack how this, childhood snack staple is reeling in a whole new generation of fans. It's kind of wild, actually.
what's really interesting is we see goldfish, we think, kids snack, right? But they're using some, I mean, seriously smart marketing to like change that perception and grow their audience.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. We've got some marketing analysis of their recent campaigns,
Hmm.
and let me tell you, it's way more interesting than I ever thought it would be. Who knew there was so much strategy behind those little smiles, you know?
It's a real challenge for brands, right? How do you appeal to a new demographic without alienating your core customers, your base? And Goldfish, at least according to this document, decided to really kind of tackle that head on.
Yeah, they did. The document really digs into this whole thing about goldfish wanting to reach beyond their usual market.
Hmm.
And they definitely did not hold back.
No.
Enter Boban Marjanovic, retired NBA player,
Yeah.
owner of some truly gigantic hands.
Huge. Yeah. And the Bobon campaign, it's a great example of what this document's calling hyper-targeted marketing. They tapped into this very specific humor. My hands are too big for this kind of thing, which was already like trending online.
Totally, yeah.
Especially with young men.
Hmm.
They knew who would think it was funny.
Yeah,
And the NBA fan base, it was just a perfect fit.
totally. Okay, full disclosure, I saw a picture of that Boban-shaped bowl before we started recording today. And I still don't know what to think. Part of me is like, who on earth okayed this?
Yeah.
But then part of me, I kind of want one.
Right.
I don't know.
And that's the reaction they're going for, right? It's brilliant, really. Limited edition, it creates that scarcity.
Yeah.
People want it more when they can't have it.
Oh, absolutely.
And a goal, but it's shaped like Boban Marjanovic's hand. It's just fun. It's fun. It gets people talking, right? Posting on social media, free marketing at its finest.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely memorable. Speaking of memorable, the document also mentioned that Kate Spade collaboration at New York Fashion Week, right?
Yes, with influencer Amanda Batula.
Yeah.
Shows up with a clear Kate Spade bag, and it is full of goldfish crackers. That's the thing, and it's such a funny contrast, right? You have this high fashion scene, and then this everyday snack food.
That's quite a leap from a giant hand.
It is,
And
and it shows another part of their strategy.
Right.
They're not just going after one demographic. First, it was young men with the MBA, and now they're reaching out to young women with this this fashion trends Kate Spade thing.
It's kind of wild how adaptable they are, finding all these ways to be relevant in these completely different worlds,
Yeah, and that's what makes it so smart, right? It's
Yeah.
more than just trying to get your attention. Goldfish, they really seem to get who their audience is,
Yeah.
and how to resonate with them, but in this unexpected way.
Totally. And, reading through this analysis, it's clear Goldfish isn't just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks,
No.
This feels very deliberate. It's like they can almost see the trends before they have, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The document, it actually calls it cultural agility,
Okay, yeah.
which is basically being able to tap into what people are already thinking about and then making your brand a part of that conversation.
Exactly. How can we be relevant? How can we find those touch points that are maybe a little unexpected?
Yeah.
And Goldfish is showing that even the simplest product can be, marketed in these exciting ways. If you know your audience, if you're not afraid to just try stuff.
Speaking of trying stuff, these campaigns, I mean, they're definitely attention grabbing, but do they actually lead to more sales? That's the million-dollar question.
Right. And thankfully, this document actually, it gives us some insight into that.
Okay, good.
It highlights that since these campaigns launched, Goldfish has actually seen a big increase in market share,
Wow.
both in the U.S. and Canada.
Wow.
So they've managed to get these new customers while still appealing to, the people who already love them,
Right.
which that's tough to do.
It is really hard.
Yeah.
So it seems like those risky moves are paying off.
Yeah.
It takes some guts, to go out on a limb like that, especially for a brand that's been around for so long. I feel like most brands would just play it safe,
Oh, absolutely. This requires a willingness to experiment.
Yeah.
to kind of, push some boundaries. And maybe you don't get it right every time,
Right.
but you gotta be willing to try,
It kind of reminds me of that quote by Helen Keller, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Seems like Goldfish really took that to heart with this marketing.
Yeah.
But I imagine there's a fine line, right?
Oh, yeah.
Between a calculated risk and just a marketing flop.
It's true. Not every risk, it works out. So what can we really learn from Goldfish's success?
I think this whole deep dive, it really shows us a few really key things.
Okay.
You really have to understand your audience.
Yeah. Like what do they care about? What do they think is funny? What are they interested in? Goldfish clearly did their research, right? They found those trends, and they knew how to use them.
It's like they know how to speak their audience's language.
Yeah.
But in a way that still feels like kind of new and different.
Exactly. And that brings us to point number 2, right? Got to be willing to take some risks.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy to just stick with what works, play it safe.
Right.
But they went for it.
They did.
Got people talking, and it really worked.
Yeah, it really did. And the final takeaway, I think, is you got to be adaptable.
Oh, for sure.
Things are changing so fast, right?
All the time.
And Goldfish has shown us that they're willing to change with it. Try new things. Find those new audiences.
Absolutely. I mean, we covered a lot in this deep dive.
We did.
So I want to leave you with this. What other products, ones that seem, maybe kind of ordinary,
right?
What could they learn from all of this? Think about it. In your work, in your life, where could a little creativity and maybe being willing to take a risk or two lead to something you never expected?
It's such a good question. And it really just proves that, marketing isn't all about these big budgets, these flashy campaigns. It's about connecting with people. Really understanding them, taking those smart risks, and you got to stay ahead of the curve. So next time you see a bag of Goldfish, take a second. Think about the strategy behind those cheesy little smiles, because you never know, it might just inspire your next great idea.